Now, ladies and gentlemen, selling M4A1S Knights in the regular condition non-souvenir for $200 to $300, selling a Glock Fade for $300, or a Karambit Fade for $400, or buying and selling a Butterfly for underneath $100 in the vanilla wear. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about my biggest regrets with Counter-Strike Global Offensive trading, buying, and mostly selling my skins, and talking about my biggest regrets in selling them, and what I sold them for, and kind of what I bought them for, and what the norms used to be for back in the day, and overall why I do not sell my skins anymore in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Maybe I trade them, but I do not sell them. Now I think this is going to be a video I think a lot of people are probably going to be able to relate to, even if they don't even notice it at the beginning, but maybe when we get through the video at the very end, we might be able to. Maybe you picked up some skins back in 2014, or even 2016 or 2017, and now they're worth triple or quadruple the amount as they were back then. Counter-Strike skins back in the day when they first started coming out weren't kind of a big thing as if they are today. So, you know, skins weren't thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars now. Same with stickers, like the I by Power sticker from 2014 from Katowice and the Titan Hollow as well. And I was kind of the person to kind of think like CS skins and CS items were never going to be that expensive in my entire life. You know, games were coming and going so quickly. I mean, at the time, Call of Duties were coming out every single year, and they were getting bought to be the best game, best-selling game every single year. They still are, and games would come and go, like Halo or a new Forza game or a single-player game for the PlayStation. They would come and go, people would get bored of it, and I thought the same thing was going to happen to Counter-Strike back in 2015, 2016. So skins weren't really a thing I was thinking of it as an investment, and neither did a lot of other people. I think most people made investments, most people who kept their skins was an accident, essentially, of an investment. Over time, if I kept all my items that I did back then, I wouldn't be rich, and it wouldn't really change my life, but it would really help things out to some extent if I were to sell all the skins I had back then today. So we're going to be going over some of the items I had back then, and essentially what I sold as of right now, what they were bought for back then, what they were kind of going for, and then what they would be selling for today, and if you were to buy them. Without further ado, let's hop right into the video. So one of the biggest skins I had back in the day, I would probably say that probably go for maybe some of the most amount of money, was a Cloud9 from DreamHack 2014 Holo based case hardened AK that had quite a bit of blue on it. We called it the case hardened Lucky Charms because it kind of looked like it had Lucky Charms. It was spotted, but the entire gun was pretty blue, which was very nice, especially the magazine. It was very blue. But those stickers at the time were only $20 to $30. Now here we are today, they're selling for about $160, $170, some of the most expensive stickers from DreamHack 2014 nowadays. And those stickers are going to keep going up in price, and they're some of the most beloved stickers anyway nowadays. And I'm pretty sure I traded this AK on CS Money back in like 2016, and I got really upset about it. I had those stickers for a long time in my inventory, and I finally ended up using them on that AK craft, and I used that AK for a pretty long time as well. I ended up selling it, I think, or just trading it for probably another bayonet or M9 bayonet at the time. And the case harden was probably only like a minimum of like maybe 10 to 15, 20 keys. And kind of with the case hardens I had as well, a bayonet case harden that had quite a bit of blue on it as well, that probably wouldn't get too much overpay nowadays, but definitely could have gotten for more what it was worth back then. I mean, I bought that thing for, I would say, 160, 170 US dollars, which is just crazy to think about for a like just skin in the game back then versus nowadays. Nowadays, I could probably get anywhere from 4 maybe to 500 for that. And then on top of the case hardens as well, the last case harden skin I had was a 5.7 case harden, which I still have today. I bought it for, I believe, 4 or 5 keys back in the day, which was used as a currency to buy and sell skins. As well as another thing that was used for currency was kind of op Asimovs, because they were always $60, $40, right in between there. They'd never really fluctuate in price. They did over the time, but not too much, as well as AK Redlines. And I could probably sell my 5.7 today for probably not as much as I could have a few years ago, because it was the main gun in the game for a very long time. The 5.7 on the CT side, as well as all the pistols in the game, including the Tech 9, the P250, used to be really overpowered. Used to be able to see pro games, for an example. You know, these guys would be running around with Tech 9s, 5.7s, CZs, and P250s, and they just headshot people no problem. The 5.7 had a problem for a very long time where it was very accurate on ladders for some reason, and you were pretty much never going to be able to miss a shot on a ladder with that. So that was pretty OP as well. And then they eventually nerfed that, and then of course, kind of like we see with buffs and nerfs in the game, it kind of nerfed that gun into the ground. No one really used it, and with the skin prices for that, they kind of dropped as well. But I think in primetime CS, with the 5.7 being really good, if it was like that nowadays, I could probably get maybe $200 for it, which I am thinking about selling that very soon, because I don't really use that pistol anymore in the game, either by a Deagle or P250. And with stickers in the game as well, I had my entire inventory, like I said earlier, based on DreamHack 2014 Cloud9 stickers, but I also had some Cato 15 stickers that were pretty expensive back then, but they're very, very expensive today. Like, they were nowhere near as how much they are today, but they were pretty up there in price. And this was long before skins became like super rare. And this is right around the time, obviously, iBuyPower is getting banned and whatnot. So their stickers were going up in price, but they're not going to be like $20,000 for a Vox Holo from 2015, which if you were a player back then and bought and sold skins and just played with them in the game, you were most likely to have a lot of these skins and a lot of these stickers back then without having a second thought of how much they cost today, because you didn't really ever think that. You didn't really think CS was going to be around that long, and as well as be as socially acceptable as it is today, meaning if you bought $10,000 in skins back in 2015, 2016, you were considered to be either an absolute idiot, which that's the majority of people what they thought, or an absolute idiot on the side of things where this game is probably not going to be around in the next couple of years. That's another reason as well, because games were coming and going so quickly as they are today as well. Like, a game comes out and it usually only lasts, like the hype anyway, it's dead within the week, which is just absolutely crazy. But with this game, it's a lot different. I mean, my stickers just in my inventory alone are probably worth nowadays, if I had a lot of them anyway, probably over $1,000 just in unapplied stickers, which is just crazy. A few more skins as well that I want to talk about is the M4 skins. I had a Knight and a Poseidon, and these things were dirt cheap back then, especially considered to what they are today. As well as I had a Fire Serpent for the AK on the T side, which I would say a lot of people did back in the day, because that's kind of the highest tier skin you could get for the AK back in the day. There was nothing really flashy. I mean, they came out with the front side Misty a little later on, and at that point I already sold a lot of my stuff, which was just kind of crazy to think about. I had a minimal wear Fire Serpent. I believe I paid, I think $160, I think, via just a 1v1 trade. I put it on CSGO Lounge, which I wish it was still a site nowadays, because it was very, very helpful. You were able to put this up, a trade. Majority of the time you'd get a lot of scammers. You kind of had to know which was a scam, which wasn't a scam. But I believe I traded him $160 worth of skins, like Asimobs, Red Lions, stickers and whatnot. Kind of just junk stuff, and I was kind of surprised at the time that he actually traded. I also had an M4A4 Poseidon, which, I mean, this thing was under, I think, $200 at the time. These things are selling for over $1,000, which is just crazy, especially when the M4A4 was at its main prime when everyone was using this in the game. I mean, it was absolutely crazy in price, almost close to 2K. And then, of course, we have the M4A1S Knight in the non-souvenir edition, because this obviously trades up to the Dragon Lore. But these things were being sold in the Steam market for just such low prices of like $160, $299 for a very long time, as well as the Glock Fade. This thing was on the market for, $200, $290, and then it just kept going up over time. And this thing used to actually be on the main Steam page for a very long time, both of these weapons in CSGO. It's another skin I had, sold it at a very low price as well. I'd say I sold a lot of my skins back in like 2016, 2017, right before skins really started taking off, back in like 2018 when it was introduced to China, as well as 2019, and then of course skins really skyrocketed during the pandemic era of CS, and they haven't really gone down very much since. And for knives, I never really had anything too crazy, obviously, besides my bayonet that I talked about earlier that I could get a little bit of overpaid for nowadays. I did have some butterfly knives. I actually wasn't a huge fan of the butterfly knife back in the day. I was always a bayonet guy. I don't know what it was about the bayonet. I just loved the animation of it pulling out and flipping in your hand. And then, of course, I kind of got into the M9. I did like the M9 for a little while. I had a phase 4 Doppler, I believe, for a very long time. I had an M9 Slaughter for a little bit, had a Karambit here and there, Karambit Doppler, Karambit Fade. And for a lot of people, I think they probably lost their stuff on gambling websites, which back in the day when I was like 15 or 16 years old, I did lose some money on some gambling websites like CSGO Wild, which I don't really condone nowadays. That's why I don't really do any sponsors for gambling websites. The only website for gambling I would kind of condone, once again, is CSGO Empire, which I have talked about in the past. The guy who owns the website and is behind it, he essentially calls out all the sketchy gambling websites and tries to shut them down himself. That kind of sounds bad from an outsider's perspective, like he's kind of running everything, but his website, he shares the odds. I've used them before for cashing out. You don't have to deposit or anything. It's a good way to sell your items if you kind of want to there, and then you can cash it through crypto or buy something else in their store. You don't have to gamble on anything on the website. It kind of sounds like a paid promotion, but what is a paid promotion is today's video sponsor, and that is Skinport, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Skinport is a buying, selling marketplace for Counter-Strike Global Offensive skins, and if you guys decide to sell any of your skins today on Skinport, it has over 300,000 items to choose from. It's only 6% fee if you sell anything over $1,000. And you can buy some of the skins we talked about in today's video for up 25 to 30% off Steam market prices. If you guys are interested in checking them out and helping the channel tremendously, check the link down in the description below. Now, if we're talking about pure investments into CSGO, I would have to say RMR is my worst investment as of recent times into Counter-Strike. Specifically more so on the Navi gold side of things. I bought 10 of these at full price of $187 US. The year prior of Katowice 2019 being so successful and my investments going up so much, I kind of thought, well, why wouldn't RMR go up? It's a special event. It's not even a major, and we're getting sticker capsules. These stickers are really, really cool. At the time, they were really cool. We didn't have very good stickers the past few years. Berlin was garbage. Katowice 2019 was all right. And obviously we had the Face It Major, which was god awful. So this year was kind of a refreshing thing. So I was like, well, this is pretty good. And we didn't really see the amount of people playing Counter-Strike until later on, I would say. We had the highest record of players playing CS and investing into skins and buying skins because it was popping at that given point in time. And with that, everyone and their mom's dog was buying RMR capsules. Therefore, they were opening these things, investing in them. They were getting these golds. And the chances of getting these gold stickers were like 1 in like 800, and people were still getting them all the time. Yet with those chances, you literally were only making $4, for an example. If you were in a boxing like on 100 Thieves Gold, they're worth absolutely nothing and were back then as well. And that kind of hit me the reality on investing into majors going forward. I know Stockholm has been pretty good for a lot of people. I'm just not going as heavy into majors and whatnot in the future as I did with RMR, Katowice 2019, and years prior, like Atlanta 2017 and whatnot. Just because of how many people invest and buy these capsules just for fun, and maybe they don't even notice it's an investment, but it is. So I'm more so nowadays on the case side of things, sticker side of things, and kind of just using old items in the game to buy, sell, trade, and invest in, because I find that to be the best nowadays anyway. If you guys are interested in me making more videos like this in the future, or story time videos of essentially why I don't sell my skins anymore, and essentially why I don't sell my skins right now anyway, for the future, the time being, is these skins are going to go up over time. That's one thing I've learned in CS, especially if it's older. And a lot of these skins in the game are, I mean, they're going up over time, especially the older ones from the Chop Shop collection, Gods and Monsters, and the old knives in the game, like the Karambit Fade, the Butterfly Knives, the Glock Fade, just for those as an example. Same with stickers. Even going back as little as Kato 19. I mean, Katowice 2019, those stickers are pretty much golden now. Like Furia Hollows were only like $10 at the time. Now they're being sold for 40 or 50, even 60. And that was very, very recent as well. And even cases nowadays, I'm pretty skeptical about selling myself. Like the glove case was very, very cheap back in the day. Same with the Hydra case, same with the Shadow case. The revolver case was literally 3 cents for the longest period in time. Now all these things are kind of jumping up in price, and they're kind of just right beneath us. And I think some of the newer stuff that's coming out in CS will turn into this, but it's going to take a very long time. And it's one thing I've learned about CS, is that this game will not die. And I have made a video talking about that. Another video I'm very interested in making in the future, if you guys are interested in me talking about this or learning about it yourself, is investing for one particular case. And meaning, like, if you were to invest into a case for just one skin in particular, so you have the Broken Fang case, is it a good idea to invest in that case for specifically the M4A1S print stream? Or better yet, maybe an example of the revolver case where it has the old knives as well as the R8 fade. So if the R8 if it does get buffed, that skin and that case will go skyrocketing. You have the Shadow case where it has the kill confirmed. That's mainly the main thing holding it together right now, as well, of course, as the Shadow knives, but those things aren't really too rare nowadays. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comment section down below. Have a good day, guys. I'm out.